Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming today. We're letting folks stream in over the next couple minutes. Excited to kick things off. In the meantime, in the chat below, please just put down where you're calling in from and what your role is. If you're a director, if you're an owner, if you're a coach, whatever your role is in childcare, just drop it below along with where you're calling in from. And then we'll get started in just a few minutes as folks continue to stream in. Amazing. Wonderful. Hi, Cam from Playground. Happy to have you in here from all the way from New York City. Suzanne, good to see you all the way from Virginia. We have Christina calling in from Georgia. Thanks for coming. Janet from Lawrence, Mass. Good to have you here. Shout out to Sarah from Rhode Island. And Riva from Louisiana. Good to see you. And we have Gwen coming in from Ohio. Eric from Georgia. Wow, from all over the place. Oh, our friend Crystal from Iowa. Good to see you here, Crystal. We have Amanda from Missouri. Lorraine from Montclair. Wow, we are covering all over. For those who just joined, feel free to drop where you're calling in from and what your role is in childcare. And we'll be starting in just a minute here. Aleta, where are you coming in from?
I'm coming from Arizona.
There we go. We got the Southwest covered then.
Place you possibly can
I get it.
from me.
Cool. We got Tina from Indiana, Irima from California. And we have a nice, healthy mix of owners, directors, some coaches. Amazing. And we'll give it one more minute and then we'll kick things off. And hello, Jenna from Indiana. I'm calling in from New York City today, in the heart of Manhattan. Cool, cool, cool. And if you haven't already, just drop where you're calling in from, what your role is, and I think we'll probably jump into it at this point. Well, welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you join today. My name is Sasha Rice. I am one of the founders of Playground. Playground is an app and a website that helps manage and grow childcare businesses. And part of our mission is to make excellent childcare accessible to everyone. Obviously, a huge part of running a successful childcare business is having a phenomenal team with you to actually realize that mission. And so we're excited today to have Aleta Mechtel join us. She's going to be chatting a bit more about staffing and retention strategies, and we'll hand it over to her in just a second. In the meantime, we are going to be doing a Q&A, so there's going to be a lot of phenomenal content covered today. I'm sure there's going to be questions or points of clarification that folks are going to have. Please feel free to note it down. You can even throw it into the chat. At the end, when Aleta wraps up, we'll have time for some Q&A. So hopefully we have some insightful questions that Aleta will be happy to address, and we'll answer it. And what's really interesting about this week's topic is, staffing is always top of mind. We talk to, we work with thousands of programs across the country, and without fail, staffing is always one of the top two most pressing issues. And so we're excited to have Aleta here today. She's an expert in the space. And I'm going to hand it over to Aleta if you want to introduce yourself and take over from here.
Sure. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to get on and make yourselves and your company better. I'm super excited for today. Let me just get to my PowerPoint here. All right. So I hope you're in the right spot. We're going to talk about staffing and really just building a resilient team in early childcare and what that looks like, basic strategies for staffing, onboarding, and retention. A little bit about me, if you guys don't know who I am. My name is Aleta Mechtel, and I live in Minneapolis, and I also live in Arizona. So I get the most of both worlds. Good seasons, both in the summer for Minnesota and snowbird here in Arizona. I was a childcare owner for 21 years, and I had 4 locations. I still own 2 of my buildings. So the new company who purchased me, they rent from me, as I could say. I sold in December 2021, so it's going on 3 years now in December. I've been a teacher, well, I've been an aide, I've been a teacher, I've been a director, a business owner. So I've wore all the hats. I know how all of you guys feel. I've been in your shoes. I get it. I know how staffing goes in childcare. So believe me, trust me. I know what you guys are feeling and what you guys are talking about when there really is truly a staffing crisis in the nation, not only in the childcare industry, for everyone, right? So, looking at the last 13 years, I've also opened another company called the Teachers for Tomorrow, and it is a substitute teacher placement company in Minneapolis that solely places early education professionals into childcare centers. So looking at that, when I would go and speak at conferences and tell people that I had a substitute teacher placement company, they asked me to franchise. However, I do not want a franchise, but I did build the blueprint for anyone who's interested in opening their own substitute teacher placement company in their area for them, and they can purchase my system and they can grow and launch and open a sub company, and so that they're never short staffed for their own centers, or and it's a good income stream for everyone else. So let me know if you're interested or if you've ever thought about opening your own substitute teacher placement company. I also rebranded in April, right after selling the company. I knew I wasn't ready to be done in the childcare space, or even being a small business coach. So I have been working with not only childcare centers across the nation, but I've got a lot of small businesses under me that I get to work with monthly, sometimes weekly, on best business practices. So that could be staffing, it could be operating systems, it can be customer service, it could be budgeting, environments, anything that happens in your company, I coach on. So with that being said, today we're going to dive deep into recruitment, onboarding, training, and retention. You guys, a cost of a bad hire is so much money. It's going to take the time that you'll never regret when you start interviewing and recruiting. So take your time up front, because this is what's going to matter when you place that hire into your building. Make sure the position is best for the candidate and the company itself. It has to work both ways. If we're overexcited just to hire because we've got a bunch of fires in our buildings, it's not going to work. And if the person that is not showing up, maybe they're showing up late, maybe they're arguing with you about what the position is itself, then that's showing like you're more excited about filling this position than that candidate is. So please make sure that position is best for the candidates you're interviewing. So let's talk about the monetary value of hiring a new employee. I know some people say it's like 1.5 times the salary. of your employee it takes to hire just for one position if you have turnover. But on average, it's 30 to 150% of the hired salary. So that means, if you're hiring at $100,000 position, it could take you $200,000 to fill that spot. So the time, the effort, the energy, the recruiting, the interviewing, the onboarding, the training, all the things, all the hours of replacing. So make sure whatever hire you have, you're building this plan for retention. Let's look at the non-monetary areas of your company. When you are hiring poorly or you have turnover, your company is going to feel it. And if you continue to make the wrong hires, your team is going to lose trust in you at the top to hire the right person. And they're going to start thinking, well, what is she doing? Why is she just hiring anyone? Why is he just hiring anyone? You're throwing these people at fires. You're bringing people in that you didn't take the time that you needed to really weed out the people. So, also the non-monetary is like managing all the bad hires, all the time that you're taking, meeting with them, putting them on plans, all the things that go with everything, that when they don't show up and they don't show up on time and your team is really relying on that, it's just showing a bad picture. So if we really look at the big picture, an average time to fill a position is about 36 days. And that scares me because we all are thinking, oh my gosh, if I lose an employee, it's on average 36 days. Well, I'm here to tell you it could be double. It could be double that. It could be triple that. So if you don't have a recruiting process in place, or your recruiting process has inefficiencies or problems, these numbers are going to be higher. And that's something that you really want to take a look at. So when you're hiring or your recruiting process takes too long, or you're bringing in the wrong candidates, you're losing opportunities every single time this process doesn't get fixed. So I want to ask you, who is doing the recruiting in your company? Is it you as the owner? Is it you as the director? Do you have just a sole recruiter? But whoever is doing the recruiting, is the position clear of who they're recruiting for? And is the environment clear when they're speaking to these employees or these candidates that are coming on board? And what I mean by this is, do they know what's required in this position, or do you know fully? Or, we have to be honest and point the elephant out in the room. You're coming here and we have not had a preschool teacher in 3 months. So we've had a sub in there, or I've been in the classroom, or my director's been in the classroom. We're looking at someone to create this environment and call it their own. And this is what success looks like, but I'm going to tell you, it's not looking like success right now. Those are the things that your recruiter or yourself, whoever is interviewing, they need to set up the expectations. Because if you're like, oh, I've got the best preschool room and there's no behaviors and everything's great, the person's, first of all, if they're good at what they do, they're going to think you're wacky, or they're going to get on and they're like, this sounds amazing. And then they get thrown at a fire. And the fire is all of the chaos that's happening or been happening because it wasn't staffed correctly or hasn't been staffed at all in the meantime. So please make sure the environment the picture of that is clear. The best candidates out there have small windows that they're working with. They want a position, they want to work, they want to do a good job. So if your process takes too long, you're going to lose the candidates to companies that have stronger systems that can act quickly. So then self-selection is going to start happening because people are going to start feeling that your process is a little bit too chaotic. So mistakes recruiters should avoid making is too much time to get back to candidates. I see this across the nation right now. They've got these candidates coming in, and they're touching base with them or thinking that they want, hey, we have this position open, or people are applying. Well, you need to get back with them like within 4 to 8 hours. You guys, I'm not kidding. These candidates go quick. So this is one thing that you do want to push and get back to candidates right away as quickly as you can. That's why having a recruiter is so important. No longer than 24 hours. You guys, you've already missed the opportunity if you go longer than 12 hours. I want you to think about mapping up what your recruiting process looks like, from start to finish. From your job description, the type of candidates you're looking for, do you really know who that is? Start looking at some resumes. Okay, now the time starts ticking. The clock is going. Go for it. Go all in. Go and get your candidates. I want you to learn how to standardize your process of your recruiting. This should be smooth. It should be clean. It should be happening in a timely manner. Communicate and over communicate with the candidates. I can't tell you how many people get a hold of the candidates. They look at the resume. Maybe they talk to them, email back and forth a little bit, but then maybe your director gets busy or you as the owner gets busy. And then this candidate is like, hello, do I have an interview? Am I not having an interview? So please, please, please make sure that you're over communicating with your candidates. And the biggest mistake I think people make, and they think they're good because they're hired, never, ever stop recruiting. You guys, if you're short-staffed, the people on your team, I hate to say the bottom feeders, but the ones at the bottom that aren't performing, but they don't have to perform because one, nobody's holding them accountable, and two, they know that you're short-staffed, so it doesn't matter how they perform, and you can't afford to lose another employee. So they've got you. They've got you wrapped around their little finger. So always, always, always recruit. Always have this funnel coming in, because at any given time, when you overstaff or you have enough people in your pool, then people are going to start stepping up. And when you start letting people go based on performance, and you've got other people coming in, you guys, it's a game changer. It's going to make the environment so much stronger, I promise. So these steps are super crucial to get in order before you even launch an opening for a role in your company. So let's get down to it, to recruitment strategies. So creating effective job descriptions. So many people across the nation are like, yeah, I wrote my job description 10 years ago. Yeah, I've never looked at it again. It's still there. This is the job description. I want you to make a point this year, so you have a more successful 2025 with your recruiting, to please, please, please revisit your job descriptions. They may not even speak to where you are in the season of your company right now. You may have never looked at them for a year or 2 years, but tailor your job descriptions to attract the right candidates. Make sure it's speaking to who you want to hire in that position. Highlight in your job description what makes your company unique, and in your ad. Like, why does this job matter to your candidates? What's in it for them? Make sure that there's a strong vision for the role that's being talked about. What does this look like? Your vision for every role has got to be so clear that when I read that job description, I know exactly what my role is in the classroom, or in the kitchen, or as a bus driver, or as a janitor. You may be creating special roles within your center. Make sure that those have job descriptions as well. It could be director of the outdoor playground, director of health and wellness, director of community partnerships, director of curriculum and instruction. All of these special roles can help people move up in your company, but they need to have job descriptions. They also, on their job descriptions, they need to see what these other roles are within your company and how they can move into these roles, or what those opportunities are. And as a reminder, please review and update manually or annually. I'm sorry. Use AI. It's super easy. Put your job description in, let them tighten it up, make it beautiful, make sure that it's speaking to exactly what you're wanting and where you are in your company at that time. The second thing is choosing the right recruitment channels. Oh, let's talk about that wonderful Indeed. Oh, so expensive, so expensive. Everybody tells me how expensive Indeed is. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on Indeed. You guys, we have a recruitment, someone that's on my team, and the only thing she does is recruiting. She's hiring, she's having sometimes 7 to 11 interviews a day, and it can be done. And we don't spend thousands and thousands of dollars. I spoke with one childcare owner. She was spending $7,000 a month, you guys. And I thought, no, 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 no. Just go in, have your monthly membership, make sure that you have maybe 30 candidates that you can look at, but have the time, set the time aside to just scroll through who those candidates can be that best fit your company and reach out to them. It's really important for you to have the upper hand. And, you may have a platform for people coming in, but when you take charge of your hiring through Indeed, it's a whole different avenue and a way of hiring that you've never been able to hire before. I mean, it's so amazing. And you can create job ads and boost those job ads. So maybe you're crawling in Indeed 1 month. Maybe you're writing ads and boosting ads on month 2. Maybe you're canceling the ads and month 3, you're crawling again. But the other thing about Indeed, I want you to set up notifications that have the word preschool in it, that have the word toddler in it, that have the word assistant teacher, preschool teacher, lead teacher, director, whoever you're hiring. Those are keywords that the system will automatically email anyone who's updated their resume, or anyone that has those words in it will come to your inbox. Now, you still have to pay to reach out to them. You still have to, that's still a contact, but at least they're coming to you as well. So set that up on your notifications through Indeed. Referrals are a big, big way of getting employees. You ask your current employees if they know of anyone, give them a referral reward. I've learned the hard way to not give that reward right away as soon as they're hired. If my reward is $500, I always say, you get $250 upon hire, and then $250 at their 90 days. So at least I know I've got 90 days worth of work of this employee before I give that referral reward. The other thing that I always say is, you've got parents. You've got so many parents in your center. You've got 2 people that you can connect with, mostly, for every child that's in there. That's a lot of people. And I say, hey, we're trying to hire for the toddler room. We just have not had any luck. Does anyone know? Refer anyone that you know that would be a good fit for this. And a lot of owners are like, oh, I don't want to let them know that I'm needing to hire. I don't want to make it look like I'm short-staffed. Well, I'm here to tell you, they are in your buildings every single day. They know you are short-staffed. And what a compliment that would be if they gave you the number of their babysitter that they trust at home. They gave you the contact information of maybe their cousin, their niece, their nephew, whoever. What a great opportunity. They only want the best for where their children are coming, right? So reach out to those families, get those referrals, and give those families that refer an employee rewards as well. Okay, so let's see. Brand awareness. So for me, I was always connected to the community. I always partnered with the pediatric hair salons, the pediatric dentistry, the pediatric eye, the pediatricians as itself. So the OBs, all of the things that's related to where your people may be. I partnered with them and got in with their events or on their social media. Let them know, get into some events, job fairs, conferences, get your brand out there. You never know who's going to walk by. Heck, I would order coffee drinks for my teachers in the morning. And the barista, every time I went to the coffee shop, she's like, man, your staff are lucky. And I'm like, well, they've been working so hard. And so then we got to talking. I kept going there for meetings or interviews or whatever. And come to find out, she was going to school to be in early ed, and she was doing the opening shift because then right after she went to school, and then in the afternoon she'd come back and do the afternoon shift. Well, I found that out, and guess what I did? I slid her my card and said, I'm looking for openers at my school. You can start at 6 o'clock. You can work until 9. Perfect. You can go to school and then come back and close. She loved that. Had no idea that was even an option. Well, thank goodness I was talking to her, and thank goodness she had such good customer service. So, brand awareness, community partnerships, relationships, do it. Get out there and build those. And then write your job ad with the right candidate in mind. Please do not think that you're going to put out a job ad that's going to hit your teachers, your assistant teachers, and your aides. It doesn't speak to them. It's not going to be the same language. So please take some time and refine your job ads. This is a big one. Reactivation and re-engagement. Super important, you guys. This is something that gets overlooked all the time. Reactivations means all of those candidates that came in that you thought were amazing, you offered that position to them, and they didn't accept. What happened? Oh, they thought they had a good opportunity somewhere else. They were going to make more money. This center looked better. Well, now they're not going to come back and ask for that position again or see if it's still open because they kind of feel bad for not accepting, or maybe they didn't even respond to your acceptance letter at all. But I need you to know that this is an opportunity for you to go out and open that door. Check in. Hey, the holidays are coming up. Just wanted to let you know, I feel blessed that we got to spend this time together in those interviews. I hope your new job is working out well for you, whatever it was. I hope you are doing well. That's all you need to do. Then they're like, hey, wait, they're talking to me? I can respond back and, well, actually, my new job isn't working. I don't like it. Do you have any positions? You're always welcome back. Absolutely. Come on in. So that's opening the door. My team had to reactivate every single month a certain amount of offer letters that went out. So we always were in reactivation mode. Re-engage is when a good employee that has worked for you may have left your company because maybe they thought that they wanted to go into an elementary school, or they wanted to have a night job, or they wanted to do something at another center. They thought they were moving up. So you bless and release that employee. You leave it on good terms, even though secretly you're so frustrated that they left. But you guys, the opportunity, if you have good exits and you're blessing them and they're released and everything is leaving on good terms, this is an opportunity for you to open that door again. So connect with them and make sure that they know, hey, you're always welcome here. If things don't work out, come back. We would love to have you. Things worked out well. Again, they will never reach out to you because they're going to come with their tail between their legs. I left you. They hate me, blah, blah, blah. Don't let that happen, okay? It's too important for you to create that strong team. All right. So conducting successful interviews for retention, super important. We want to retain everyone that we hire, right? So we want to be making these good choices. So number one is your filtering process. This is most likely your phone interview, pre-screening. You're assessing their experience. You're going deep into what they know. Where is their passion? And what are their skills working with children? I can't tell you how many times I get on a phone, and it hasn't been for years, but when I would get on a phone and I said, tell me a little bit about yourself and why childcare? Tell me. And they're like, oh, I love children. Children love me. I love working with children. It's just so fun. Children are so cool. And I'm like, what? So I don't want you accepting that. That is not going deep. This is the time that you need to be asking specific questions that are going to weed out if they are a good fit, even to move on to that next interview that's going to be face to face. So talk about experience. You want real life scenarios. Ask them about why they chose that position. Why did they choose to interview? Why they think they're going to be a good candidate. How did they develop a passion for children? Give real examples. Don't rush this process. This is what you need to do. I would recommend standardizing your questions. Keep the same questions that dive deep and put a score against it, right? So then you can score your people. And if they score a certain amount, move them on to the next level of, interviewing your face to face. So basically, do they know how to do the job or not? Okay, great. They do. Move on. So many people say, well, I couldn't get a feel for what that was. It's okay to schedule a follow-up call. I would rather have you schedule a follow-up call or have somebody else in the company have a follow-up call and ask questions and get the feel than you feeling in your gut, I'm really not sure, but I'm just going to move them through anyway. That's a waste of time because this in-person interview is going to be a lot more lengthy. And, a phone interview is 15 minutes, half an hour. Make sure that you are not wasting people's time, yours or the candidates. So now we're moving on to the in-person interview. Very important. This is evaluating how candidates respond to real life scenarios that you are giving them in your company. So start writing today. Start writing down all the scenarios, all the challenges that happen, parent communication, employee communication, peers, behaviors, people working under them, above them, like every single thing that comes to the director's table or the owner's table, write it down. Ask these people that are interviewing for this position, whatever applies, if I give you this scenario, how would you handle? What would you do if? How would you handle this? And though that's what's happening, that's if they can answer it and you're like, oh, and sometimes you guys, you're going to learn from these candidates. Sometimes they're going to give you ideas you never even thought how to even solve that problem, and you're going to be writing down things. So I want you to have an open communication with real life scenarios based on making that decision if they are a good fit for your company. The other thing I want you to concentrate is, core values and the cultural fit. If you have written your core values, if you have not, I recommend getting on that right away. If you need help, I can help you. But if you have your core values and you know exactly what they are, please make sure that you are hiring based on the employee or the candidate that will fit those core values. It's so important. Identify and align with your center's mission and your vision. Make sure they understand. So if you have 3 core values, I want you to actually state what core value it is that you're asking the candidate and say, integrity. What does that mean to you? How do you use integrity in your life? How would you bring integrity into the school? And so for you, then if integrity, if that's one of your core values, if whoever's applying for this position really gets it and can really follow that core value of yours. It's so important. And then the good old reference checks. People are so crazy excited to hire. They want to hire fast. We've got so many fires. We want to make sure. Are you doing reference checks? Yes or no? Maybe. Does it add value? Well, I'm here to say if they're done right and they're done correctly, you absolutely should take this time to do a reference check. If you are asking for the normal 3 references here, they're going to write, their most favorite people who are going to talk the best about them. But if you tell your candidate the kind of reference that you want and the number of references that you want from them, it's going to be a game changer, you guys. So ask for 6. Right? And you're like, 6, oh my gosh, I don't even have time to even go on with the rest of the interview. I need this person in my classroom. Well, would you rather spend time talking to 6 references or going through the total recruiting, interviewing, hiring process again? So I say, let's take a look at these references, right? So get 2 peer references, get 2 former leader references, and 2 former directs. Okay, super important, or whatever you want these reference checks to be. I just would recommend you getting 6 and you specifically asking for what you want from them. Let's talk about onboarding and training. So different. Everybody combines these words together and it's 2 totally separate areas, okay? So onboarding is all the paperwork, right? So it's the orientation. It's the paperwork that licensing needs. It's your handbook. It's all the boring stuff that you got to go through and sign and the background checks and all that. But you have to have this done, right? So that is the onboarding. The training part of your onboarding day is your policies, your procedures, your curriculum, your vision, your mission, your core values, what the job responsibility is, taking a look at that job description, going through each task and what that means. That's training, you guys. That is not onboarding. That is true training that is going to build such a strong relationship and a commitment to the job that you are filling. Okay. And then making sure, is the job representing what they were sold from the recruiter? I see this over and over again. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but if your recruiter is bragging about your school and talking about how amazing the environment is and the classroom has got all amazing children, of course these children are amazing, but you know what? You've got 20 boys and 4 girls and you're not bringing that to the table to the person that's coming in, and they're going to come in and they are going to die. They are going to lose it. They are going to think that they're just being thrown into a classroom to fend for themselves. This is not what the recruiter showed me. This is not the job that was shown to me to beginning. This is not the picture that was painted. So please make sure that that job, whatever it is these candidates are filling, represents the actual position that they are going into. Okay, so important. Mentorship and ongoing support. I have developed a mentorship training program within my childcare centers. I carried it through to my substitute teacher placement company. It is very important. These people that are coming into your company may have worked at their past place of employment forever, and they are scared to death. Oh my gosh, I've heard good things about the center. Is it really true? I don't know how they act, how their policies are. I know I did this. I was comfortable over here. With a mentor who is bringing this new candidate on, this new hire, it gives them a sense of, oh my gosh, at least I have one person I can go to. I can talk to the one person. I know I'm going to do that right because this person showed me how to do that. However, let's take a step back. And when you're building your mentorship program and training, you need to train your mentor teachers just as much as you need to train your new employees. You need to show them what's expected. You need to have a checklist. They have to go over everything. What is expected of them? Are they going to get paid more? Have a mentor teacher in the infant program, a mentor teacher in the toddler program, a mentor teacher in the preschool program, okay? That is someone who these new hires can go to. They can depend on them. They can rely on them. They can ask them questions. Maybe they go out to lunch. It's the one person that has their back, right? That is the person that is going to give them the support when they need. And then think about the ongoing support. You know, you hire, you onboard, you train. Now what? Okay, they started. And then did anyone check in with them on that first day? Did they see if they were stuck? Did they have any questions? Could they get in the front door? Does their code work? Did they clock in? How was the parent communication? Did they have a challenge? What is going on? Are they still feeling good? It is up to you to connect with them on their first day. At the end of their first week, I want you to do the same thing. Maybe the mentor teacher checks in. Maybe it's the assistant director. Who is checking in with this person to ensure they're still having the same excitement they had on day 1 as day 5, okay, at the end of the week? Now we're looking at our 30-day check-in. Okay, what's going well? Are you stuck? Does the position look the same as what was told to you? Is there anything you wish you would have known before you stepped into this position? Are you still feeling pretty good? Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, give them that feedback. Give them that help. Do you need any tools? Do you have any challenges that are happening in your classroom that you need help with? Do you feel there's any other training that we could assist you with that would better your role in the company? Give this time to them. It's so important. 60 days. Okay, are your benefits starting? Maybe at 30 days, you talk about your benefit program so they can implement at 60 days or 90 days, whatever is set up. Make sure they know. The other things you want to talk about in your 30, 60, 90 is go back to when you onboarded, go back to when you train, and cover some of those things that are really, really important, because all of this information is so overwhelming and they will not retain most of it. So when I hear directors, well, I've told them 100 times, I've told them over and over, I don't understand why they don't remember. It's because in the beginning, they're in a new position. They are so nervous. They are so scared. They want to do well. But most times we don't give the opportunity of correct onboarding or training or an opportunity to revisit and model what is right. So please use these 30, 60, 90-day check-ins to master that position, whoever has just come onto your program. And then, of course, don't just let them drop off the whole entire environment at day 91. Still have your check-ins 6 months, a year, whatever that looks like. Make sure your annual reviews reflect what went well the past year, what that employee thinks they're going to do for the company in the upcoming year, and make sure that they're hitting everything that's on that job description and your core values. Super important. And then tailor the training that you provide to the roles that you have in your company. And an aide does not need the same training as a teacher, okay? Unless you've got a aide move up training, or assistant to teacher, teacher to assistant director in training, director in training for an assistant to move up. Like, you need to be setting clear expectations and create growth plans for retention. 45% of employees will stay longer if they have a clear training path where they feel they can grow in your company. It's hard. Childcare industry, it's aide, assistant, teacher, assistant director, and director most of the time. Okay, so what can you do to set some clear expectations, give a beautiful picture of how these teachers or assistant teachers can move up, or aides, and then create that growth plan with these employees? So let's talk a little bit about this flexibility and adaptability for retention. The world is crazy right now, you guys, and so much is happening. Our interviews are coming and people aren't wanting to really work. They want to work when they want to work. They don't want to really have to ask for time off. Things are a little wacky in this hiring environment. So I want you to think about you're building a substitute teacher pool, okay? So manage your fluctuations in staffing with this sub pool. And if you've tried in the past, right now is the perfect time for you to build this within your childcare center. So anyone that interviews that wants part-time or needs flexibility for their family, that goes directly into a sub pool, okay? So just talk to them. I know you interviewed for the full-time toddler position. However, we have an opportunity. It looks like you need a little more flexibility. It looks like you need a little bit more time for you to pick and choose when you can work. But make sure that those people know that there's an option that you'll still hire them based on their availability. And then you can build your sub list while you're interviewing and hiring for your childcare centers, okay? So the other area is think about creating a flexible schedule option for your team. That work-life balance needs to be enhanced. That's where you're going to keep your people. And what I mean by that is I used to be so strict as the owner and the director and say, nope, this is, I need from 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 9:30 to 6. Like these are my stack, but you can only come in for that. Well, what happens if we start staggering our staff based on the needs of their children, their work schedules, their need to make sure that whatever they need to have that balance will help them out tremendous, and they will do such an excellent job. So maybe dad can take the kids to school on Monday and Tuesday, but can't Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So maybe one of the teachers works Monday, Tuesday, different hours, and the other one has Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, let them speak with the people on your team to manage the day. Ask your team. You as the director, you as the owner, do not have to make these decisions all the time on your staffing problems and filling these holes. Just come to them. This is our schedule. This is what I'm seeing. This is where my challenges are. Does anybody have any suggestions? Use your team to help you build out your schedules. When they can take ownership of that and they can come to you and say, you know, I have a dentist appointment and I made it the last appointment of the day. I work until 6, but I'm going to need to be off at 4. But I'm going to switch shifts with Miss Sally, and Sally's going to work my hours and I'm going to work her hours that day so I can go to the dentist. Is that okay? And then you're like, yeah, absolutely, that's okay. Problem solvers, right? They're not coming to you asking for permission for everything. They're taking ownership in the schedule. They're taking ownership in the day and what's needed at the school. That can free a director's mind in so many ways. Scheduling is a nightmare. If there's one thing that I can tell everyone who develops software, if you're listening, to get a scheduling tool perfected, so all of us at the child care center level can use that and can fill the holes. Nobody's done that yet that I'm aware of, and everybody asks for it that I hear. So take note. And then cross training and skill development. So again, you guys, this is all about filling their tool belt with sharp, shiny tools that they can use in the classroom, training opportunities, opportunities for them to build and grow, expanding their roles, expanding their knowledge, creating ownership in their position. It's so important. So many directors also say to me, well, I'm not going to spend money on training because they're going to leave anyway. Well, if that's our focus on them leaving anyway, you guys, what if they stay? What if they are in an environment where they want to do good and they want to respect you as a company and they're there for the children, the main reason, but they don't have enough strength or training to be the best they can be? You've just missed out on an opportunity of a pretty long longevity retention of that teacher, because they're going to go somewhere else where they can get this. So please take a moment and think about what your retention plan looks like for training and creating ownership in your company. Okay. So that was a lot that I was talking about. I hope I didn't talk too fast, but I'm here for you. I want to tell you about a couple things, how you can work with me in the upcoming months. Every year I have a strategic plan masterclass that I hold in December. It's basically getting a hold of what your core values are. If you haven't created them, how to create them. If you have them, do we need to change them, revisiting them, making sure your mission and your vision statements speak to your company right now. You'll solidify all of these areas. You will develop annual goals for your company. You will talk about your quarterly goals. You will talk about what you need to measure for a successful company. You will create your entire marketing plan for the upcoming year that will help with your families, your employees, your vendors, everything you need for strategizing, retention, gaining more, and appropriate things that you need to measure for the success of your company. So I also have a few Q&As coming up. If anyone has ever wanted to open their own substitute teacher placement company, or you have been trying to do it on your own, you guys, listen, I have made all the mistakes you can possibly make. I still make mistakes every single day operating my company, but talking about the end result of getting consistency and good qualified leaders in our classroom. At the end of the day, our kids are getting taken care of. The children are thriving, and the directors can get back in their seat, in their desk, and run a well-oiled operation. So if you are thinking about that, reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk you through that. I have a 3-part mini series coming up, building a strong team. What is a float teacher versus a sub? So many people are making the mistake of hiring a float or hiring a sub and not using them appropriately, so they're losing them faster than they can hire them. And then top 10 ways to hire a reliable sub pool. I quickly walk you through every step, questions to ask, how to build that. So if you are open to or you're needing to work with me or have questions, I absolutely am here for you, and I can guide you through a really successful 2025. Thanks, everyone. That was a lot.
Thank you so much, Aleta. That was phenomenal. So much good information there. I'm sure folks will reach out. Since we have you and since we have a few minutes left, there were a couple questions that came in and wanted to throw your way from the chat to get your thoughts on. The first one actually came in very early on when you were talking about the cost of a bad hire. And someone asked, what do you do when there are no other applicants and you have to hire 4 ratios? How do you balance that?
You just don't stop. You just go to every opportunity you possibly can. You build your community relationships, you go to your local churches. There is a program in our area called MOPS. It's Mothers of Preschoolers. And then you've got the Mothers of Graduated Preschoolers. So those are moms that have been stay-at-home moms. And now they're like, ooh, I need to give back to my family. And now that my child has gone into school, what am I going to do? Those are the perfect people, you guys. Go and get those stay-at-home mamas that are kind of struggling with what am I going to do every day, all day, but now I can give back to my family in a different way. Go to that. Just never stop looking for employees. Go out there, find them. When you get good customer service, grab a hold of that person, start talking to them, ask what they do, ask if they want a job. I mean, I've really stolen a lot of people. I don't mean to say steal, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, if folks have additional questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat at this point. One other question that came to mind when you were talking about the onboarding and the training. Have you ever implemented some sort of buddy system? So appointing someone on the team, at the peer level to essentially be that person's buddy, making sure that they have someone to eat lunch with or someone that they can go to ask, the smallest questions. And if so, how do you generally structure that?
Yeah, so I bring the mentor teacher in and I introduce them when we're onboarding and training. So then they know what they're going to go over in the classroom. And a lot of times I will have them shadow and get taught in the mentor teacher every single area, because even though they're coming in as an infant teacher or even a toddler teacher, they may end up in a preschool room at some point, and we want to make sure that they have got all the knowledge from the mentor teacher on their checklist, and they both have to sign off on it in all areas of the childcare. I always give a gift card to the mentor teacher to take the new employee out to lunch at some point during the week to make sure that they're off site and they feel good and they can ask questions off site. It's so busy when they're in the classroom and all the things are going on. I want them to be able to go and get away and build that connection, and then just really talk about the position itself.
Amazing. Doesn't look like there's any other questions that have come in, so we'll wrap up just a minute or two early. First of all, I want to say thank you, Aleta, for spending the time with
Yeah.
us today. This was so fun and so informative. Thanks to everyone who joined from all over the country and across all these different roles. It's so fun to have everyone here. Again, I'm Sasha, co-founder of Playground. If you're interested in learning more about what we're working on, give us a shout. And then also next week, we're hosting a webinar on tax strategies for 2025. Very exciting and equally important stuff. So if you want and are interested, we will be following up with that link. Feel free to register. But otherwise, thank you everyone for coming and hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.